what's going on, everybody? It's CJ back here with Madden Doctor, bringing you another tip video. Been grinding, man. Been doing those gameplay videos for the club championship. I know a lot of people like those when I posted them a few months back for the classics. Let me know in the comments if you like those videos. If not, just ignore them, man. I'm just putting them up for the people that do enjoy them. I condense them. It's crazy, man. You could take 50 minutes of game footage. It does take me a good bit to edit it down. Just overall time-wise, it's not hard, but it is time-consuming to edit that down. But it's 10 minutes basically worth of game footage, and they drag it on for 50 minutes. And it's not just them, I say they, but it's just with all the dead time in between plays. That's just the nature of football. If you ever really watch or ever watch a condensed NFL game, it's kind of crazy. You know, it goes for 4 hours, right? Your team's on from 1 to like, well, at least 3.5 hours. If you ever watch the play-by-play condensed version, you could watch a whole game in like 15 minutes. So that's what I'm trying to do for y'all, so you can get a feel for what those pros are running. So let me know. Banging out some content. We're getting a lot of momentum, so I really do appreciate the support. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. And for current subscribers, man, turn those bell notifications on. I can see how many of y'all turn those bell notifications on. Turn them on. I don't be spamming junk, man. Everything I post, it does work very efficiently in game for me. It's something I really do think brings value to you, or I wouldn't waste my time posting it. So do me a favor and turn those bell notifications on. Today, as you saw in the intro, we're going to cover 5 routes, man. Some of these might be beginner stuff, underutilized routes that will improve your Madden game instantly. First route, man, is just the comeback route. No particular order here, boys. Gonna, like I said, mention all the routes that I feel like are underused and very efficient. If you're already using this route to its fullest potential, feel free to skip ahead to the next route. But this comeback route, man, absolutely money, especially with all the man defense everybody's playing this year. Just like in real football, I know Madden's not identical to real football in the least, but one of the things it did get right is this comeback route, because in real football, they say this back shoulder throw, this comeback throw is nearly unguardable if thrown perfect. You know, if you make a perfect throw, it should be unguardable, and that is really the case here. If you time this right, if you get in that, I thought I was going to get sacked. And that's the downfall of this route, boys. If you throw it early, it's probably going to get picked. But if you throw this right, it's absolutely money. It's going to be, it gets me out of a lot of situation times. Next time you're bagged, next time you find yourself playing someone that's playing absolute lockdown defense and you don't see any holes in the defense, most likely he's playing man defense. Most likely he's pressing you. Do yourself a favor and go to this comeback route. Make sure you get a feel for exactly when they turn around. You want to bullet past that. You want to lead it a little bit down and outside. And then the next thing with the comeback route, boys, a lot of people don't do is smart route that comeback route. Now look at Square's route over there. Here's his normal route, but if you smart route either one of those routes on either side, it goes to the 10-yard or the first down, so you can actually get it shorter than 10 yards even. And then what you can do is you can mix in a wheel route next to that comeback route. Works out pretty good. And it would work better if you have a route like circle on X's route. In a lot of split closes, there's that slot called like you know, where Chubb's on like an angle route and X is on circles route, where he's on just a post up the middle. If you have a post up the middle like that and you put Square on a comeback route and then smart route him, what happens is it really glitches out that deep blue on the left side there, and that comeback route really holds, and it kind of works there, but like I said, it'll work even better if you have that post route to the slot receiver. But that's just something to keep in mind. That comeback route, especially when you smart route it, it really pulls down that safety on that side. It's something I've been using all year round, and you can really get some one-play money plays, especially against cover 3. But just in general, this is going to beat almost every zone in the game. Definitely every man in the game if you time it right. The only thing that really gives it trouble is like a cover 2. I can show it to you briefly here against the cover 2, Tampa 2 with a regular old cloud flat, and it still doesn't do great against it. You can actually get this ball over top of that corner, which is crazy. Because it looks like it should be played, and that's something I've thrown by accident in game, but for whatever reason he doesn't play it. It's a risky throw. I don't recommend it, but if you're absolutely desperate, a lot of times that cloud flat doesn't even play the comeback. So alright, boys, next up, like I said, no particular order, but since that one, I mean, everybody should know about the comeback route, right? You'd be surprised, man. I play whole games against really high level opponents and they never run a single comeback route all game. It's no particular order, but since that one's probably a little bit more common, we're gonna go next up to a not so common route. The second route we're covering today is the check and release, boys. Both the hot routed version and then the built-in version, as you see in this play here, that I'll dive into more in depth shortly. All right, boys, first we're going to jump to the Saints playbook just to give you my absolute favorite check and release play. I've been using this play since Madden 16, maybe Madden 17. I can't really remember. It's the Saints ebook, or playbook. It's in the Saints ebook. It's the PA shot seams. And everybody should know by now, but if you go to the halfback one set out of this formation, you can get a wide receiver where the tight end is, where Njoku is. But the way I run this play, I actually prefer a tight end there, believe it or not, because I like him a little bit slower so he doesn't get too close to the safety, because the way this timing works out, and this is my favorite setup. I've been running this since Madden 17, maybe 16 even. Just slant square, and then we use this route that we're talking about, the check and release, to the running back. I love this because it creates a nice high-low between square and R1 as you roll to the right. And then what I do is I motion Landry to the right and motion snap it. And Landry's going to beat, especially if you have some speed there. Obviously, the reads there were R1 and square, but I was staring at circle. But if you have a speed guy there, I should have put Beckham there just to show you. But Beckham's route is pretty nasty too if you catch him in man. But Circle's route is going to beat man defense. It's going to beat almost every zone. It's pretty much got to be user, especially if you click on and come in and possession catch it. But I mean, if you're dealing with an all-out blitz, if you're dealing with a dime 146, obviously you want to just block the running back straight up. But we're talking about the check and release, so I did want to show you that. This is my favorite check and release play in the game, except for this next play I'm going to show you. It's a built-in check release out of the Lions playbook. It's also in the Saints playbook. I'm going to link or list in the description every playbook it's in. It's one of my favorite plays in the game right now, and I'm going to show you that next. I'll show you what I mean here, because a lot of times squares coming right across, and there's the nice check and release. Rack that, and that's 10 yards on a check and release. I don't know why nobody uses this route. It's a really good route, guys, and that's why it's the second route in this video that we're talking about that doesn't get used enough that you should start incorporating in your offense. But as square comes across the middle, the reason I like the tight end there is because the user comes down a lot of times, and you can sneak this right to X and possession catch that. But if it's a receiver, a lot of times he'll get too close to the safety and you'll throw a pick, or it'll just get knocked loose. But because the tight end's a little bit slower, and the Njoku's a faster tight end, actually the slower the tight end the better, because it gives you a nice little window to drop it in. Alright, boys, this is the play, one of my favorite plays in the game right now. I mentioned it in a previous video, either the last one or two videos ago. I apologize I haven't gotten around to showing it to you yet. I'm going to give it to you now, though. It's a play I found making the Lions book, so it's definitely in the Lions ebook or playbook. I made an ebook for a guy. If you want to purchase any of these ebooks outside of Patreon, just shoot me an email, fellas. I got Raiders, Ravens, Saints, Bills, and the Lions. But it's also in the Saints playbook. It's in a lot of different playbooks. I'm going to look it up, every playbook it's in, and I'm going to put that in the description. This double post play, it's just called different formations, but it's in a lot of different playbooks. It's in the Saints and Lions for sure. I think it's in the Jets. I'll just show it against random here. But this is the last thing I want to touch on with this check and release play, and then we'll move on to the next route. But this play is so good, fellas, because of this check and release. You know, your first inclination a lot of times is to block that purple route, the R1 route, to take it away, just because if you haven't used it before, you would never know how good it is. For some reason, earlier in the year, I just decided to try it out, and it's absolutely money. I show a 3rd and 6 here earlier where I really needed a first down, and I go to, this is my go-to a lot of times, because you have the double post route on the left, absolutely money, and one of those routes, slightly modified, is going to be our next money route in this video, actually. But all you have to do here, block the tight end, boys, and you could run it stock. I mean, it's really easy reads with both those post routes on the left. A lot of times that takes, and square was probably there early, but there's circle, and that was a terrible throw, Baker. But you get the idea. I'm not going to waste too much more time showing this. It's a stock play, but this check and release out of here, it's a built-in check and release, so it comes stock with the play, and you'll find these purple routes in a lot of different plays, so don't be afraid to try them out, because they're actually pretty good. But just read it. Triangle first, R1 second. You see it just smoked the linebacker there, and I didn't get a great catch and run animation there, but sometimes if you can catch it real smooth and just turn it up the sideline. Alright boys, and that brings us right into our third route, the absolute best route in the game here. If you're not using this route, I don't know what you're doing with your life, because this is a must-have in Madden, and this is the outside post route to square. Now, every part of me wants to run it to Beckham's side, but I want to show you that even with a receiver like Higgins, it still works effective. So imagine how deadly and unfair and OP it gets if you run this to somebody like Beckham. But it's the outside post route. You're going to smart route it, take it to that 10. So he's going to cut at the 10-yard line, or the 10 yards out. He's going to cut in. And what I like to do is just put Landry on a hitch, because it makes a nice, easy read. You can also fade him to kind of clear that safety out, or you can leave him on the post. But I don't like him on the double post if you're not going to try to hit Landry. If you need a guaranteed 10 yards, you're safer putting him on a hitch and trying to fit this in. But if you do the double post, you got to read both of them, because if square's covered, then you probably had an opportunity to hit triangle before square. That's just something to note. But this is the absolute best route in the game. Get in the lab, get used to low passing this. But the thing about this route, boys, is you don't always want to low pass it. And I'll kind of go through it here and show you what I mean. Like right here is not a low pass because that corner was back there. So there's two ways to hit this route. Either just throw it like that, a lead pass inside. It's always a lead pass to the inside and sometimes down. But right there, because that safety was back there, or the corner dropped back far enough, you don't want to low pass it. So it's going to be a decision you have to make between just lead passing it inside and low passing it. Like right here's a low pass just to keep it away from the safety, and then you're always going to want to click on this route, boys. Yes, you can hit it without clicking on, but your timing has to be almost perfect if you're not going to click on, because if you don't click on and your timing is just a little bit off, it gives the user an opportunity to click on, and then the CPU is much more likely to jump that route if you don't click it on. But it's not hard, it's very easy, but it's the absolute best route in the game. Get in the lab and get used to throwing this route, because if you hit him right out of his break, it's almost unguardable, boys. This route's got to be user. A lot of really good users know about it. I mean, they're ready for this. I'm user in this route 9 times out of 10, but then it's just going to open up so much other things on the field, like R1, like circle, if he's busy user and square. But if you're not playing a really good opponent, boys, you're going to have this route all day to the inside. You just got to get really used to the timing and clicking on and coming in, and you see it's almost a guaranteed completion. So that's the absolute best route in the game. Incorporate that 100% into your offense. If you're not already, you're going to see a night and day difference. All right, boys, number 4, I'm not going to cover too much real quick because I did a whole video on it. I'm going to put the link right above. Click on that link. It's Skimbo's offense. It's just the delay fade to the tight end, and that's it. I mean, it's something you have to manually release. It's something I touched on in my Raiders ebook even before I knew Skimbo was doing it, so it is effective, and it's just something you can mix in with a million different things. So just know that it is effective, especially when you use it with the max protect. You do something like this. Use Landry as a blocker, and just have 2 routes, and then once he's busy user in those routes, why is Baker so bad, bro? I think I use my old controller when I lab, so I don't wear out the new one. That might be why, or they just totally snubbed my boy Baker. But delay fade, boys, that's it. Just put up on, when you have a tight end at the line of scrimmage, if you hit up on the right stick, it's the delay fade. It's something Skimbo does, and I have a whole video on it, so go check that out if you haven't already. But it's something you manually release, especially once he's busy user in other parts of the field, and you can really gash him up the seams with that delay fade. So with that, we'll dive into the 5th and final route for today's video, boys. Alright, boys, in the 5th and final route I'm going to give you that I feel is underutilized, I'm going to call it the backside wheel route, boys. I'm going to put the running back on a wheel route and motion him to the right. And I just like putting him on the ISO wide receiver side. So pick a formation where he's already on the ISO side, or just motion him over. The delayed dig route, the 10-yard dig route is good to combine with it for sure, because it's going to be hard to user both of those, because the dig's coming in, the wheel's going out and up. Or I like to just straight up streak them. Something you don't want to do with the wheel route is put them on like a comeback, because it's too easy to user both of those. I don't really love the slant either, because you could kind of user both of them, especially if you're sending heat. He could kind of user both of those, you know, briefly while the pressure gets in. So it's just the more separation the better. I like the streak because if he's in a cover 2 or man, if you have a lot of speed there, you can beat him over the top. And then a lot of times R1 will get open late too. So what happens here, guys, a lot of people don't use this effectively because there's 2 places you can hit him. And I like to put just square on like a backside dig route as well, or in route as well. So this is probably my ideal setup here. But there's 2 places you can hit him. If he blitzes the house, you can hit him early. But then he comes open late, and this is something I don't see a lot of people doing. This is something I use a lot. He busts a lot of zones late, so you definitely want some protection. You definitely want a quick hitter if the pressure gets through. But if you can roll out, buy yourself some time. I love clearing out the safety on that side with circle on a streak. I love having a check down to square. But if you can roll out here and buy some time, 9 times out of 10, that wheel route gets open over the top. And triangle was the read there. But that wheel route busts the zones a lot of times. So make sure you're using that. That might be more of a common thing that y'all are already using. But make sure, maybe you're not, and make sure you start mixing it in. So I really appreciate you guys watching. I really do hope this helps your Madden game. Let me know what kind of video, what kind of concepts, what kind of mini schemes you want to see next. Other than that, I appreciate you watching and enjoy the rest of your Madden season.